Well, hello everybody. Look, we're gonna come in. I had a little music already playing. You can hear my music. Fuller say, I'm gonna took me a nap. Y'all know what happens when Fuller take a nap. All right, you guys. We are here live and in color. You need to dance it out. Fuller guys, I tell you, you guys, the nap is a good thing. But look, Fuller woke up 10 minutes ago. Babe, you can't do that before we do God for them.
I didn't sleep this weekend at all.
Look
My
here.
baby kept me busy.
Look, turn it down, baby. We got to talk about some stuff today before we get started on our part 3. Look, we have had a full weekend of stuff going on. Let me see if I can keep my. I'm gonna unplug this cable for the power to the laptop. So we've had a full week, you guys. I must say we have traveled to Austin, Texas on
Nonstop.
Friday. We got there on Friday and got a chance to see my niece Farrah and my mom. We're going because my mom was turning 92 or is turned 92 on Thursday.
Looks great.
And
Doing
then,
good.
yep, she's perfect. And so we went to go visit with her. Then we had to get together with the family and had a birthday party celebration with some old church members and some of friends, my friends, and friends of hers that came and celebrated. It was really good. We had a great time. And then well, of course we had to drive to Fort Worth. It was in Fort Worth, Texas. We had to drive to Fort Worth
From Austin.
That was 2.5 hours. And then I don't know, me and Fuller was so tired we didn't even eat dinner. I think I went by Chick-fil-A and got some
We
something.
spent 3 days in the car, more or less.
Fuller,
All
Fuller,
that
Fuller
driving.
ain't right. Fuller.
It's the truth.
We did. We was quite busy, I must say. And then we drove. We spent the night on Saturday. Got up. We all slept in. Got up. Well, the best thing we did was rent that. We rented a van so we could all ride together. And then we drove back from Fort Worth back to Austin. And then I got the bright idea.
And then my 2 great grandkids, they was,
They're not great grandkids. Yours, they grandkids, kind of.
yeah, well,
Very good.
kind of, they called me.
They call Paul. They your grandkids.
Right. So
For our grandkids.
they were bouncing off the wall, but in a good way. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And woo,
Yeah. When
between
you're not
that
used
car
to,
and them,
but when you're not used to kids screaming at 2, one is 2 and one is 4, and nonstop, and got to check on them. Travis, stop. Austin, put your hand down. Don't go over there. So, get in the car. All that. So it was a lot that we hadn't had a chance to experience in a while. And then we drove. Then I decided because my mom. I don't know if anybody's from Ronaldo would know this, but from the Texas area, we've got a place like Piccadilly in Atlanta. Got a place called Luby's, and Luby's. Farrah lives about 45 minutes from everything. There's some chain restaurants, but they were fine. But I knew mom she had her mindset on because we haven't been to Fort Worth in a while. She had her mindset on going to Luby's. It's just okay. But we drove out there. Basically,
I liked it. It was pretty good. It was really good.
Yeah.
It's like Piccadilly, but the food was more seasoned than Piccadilly.
Yeah.
It was good. I really
look. Then had to drive back. That was 45 minutes. Drive back to drop
after driving from
2.5 hours.
Fort Worth to.
They heard all that, baby.
Yeah, but I'm putting emphasis on it.
And then I had to go to the grocery store. Anybody know about HEB? That's what they have in Texas now. HEB, and go grocery shopping for my mama.
It's a better Walmart.
It's a better Walmart. Yeah. So we did that, and then came on. Then dropped them off, and then went back in the same direction. We went to the Luby's to go to. We stayed at a hotel right by the airport because we was traveling, coming back in. Our flight was at 8:30 this morning. So we fully came up with a really good idea. Let's stay near the airport so we don't have to drive so far. And that was a good idea because if y'all have never driven in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin area, Houston, oh my God, it's a lot of new highways.
It was never like traffic.
Yeah, so Miss Norman said HEB. People, Ronaldo know. Look, Ronaldo know. And Ronaldo, every time I talk to her, that's Ronaldo's second home. that and Sam's. And yes, so
it's like almost like an upscale Walmart.
yeah,
That's the
it's
best way I
not
can
like
do it.
Kroger, not in the least,
Right.
Miss Norman,
Got
not in the least.
much more to choose from.
Yeah, it is truly upscale.
All in one shop.
All in one shop.
Grocery,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And then this today, I'm coming from, I had my annual doctor's appointment. So, going through downtown traffic now.
And she had to come and wake me up. I was doing good.
I walked in the house and you guys, guess where Fuller was in the bed? I said, Fuller, babe, you got to get up. Hence the calm, kind of easygoing spirit, but full of waking up, you guys. Okay, but anyway, we digress. Hey, everybody, what's up, Dawn and Miss Norma and Von Holmes and Miss Norma Hayes and all of our YouTube family and friends, and then of course, Demetri. We got people who we run into every week who will say, "I watch y'all on God," because I don't ever say nothing, but I be watching you guys, and so thank you for joining us. We have yet another special episode for you guys with our friends. Beautiful couple. We've been talking about them. We've been meeting with them for the last 2 weeks. Now in our third week with the Akins. I'm gonna pop them on in. What's going on?
Hello.
Yes,
hello.
Yes.
The ATL.
Yes. So welcome again.
Is in the house.
Yes.
Yeah, sleepwalking.
Yeah. So he's still trying to recover, but we made it back, you guys. We didn't know I couldn't remember what our flight time was last week, but we got back this morning a little bit before noon, and so. But of course, we had to make sure we get back for our guests, the Akins. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend?
We're doing great.
Wonderful. Great weekend.
Okay, well, good. Well, look, I was on my way here, and what I realize now too is there's a lot of podcasts made. I was listening to a message from Sunday on just our children, and this. Oh, I'm glad I said that because we said we were going to talk about what did the kids say, our adult children say when you guys decided to. Circle the box on the paper that says, "Will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend?" Circle A or B, and so y'all choose the circle A. So what did the grown children have to say about that?
You first.
No, you start.
Gary, think about it first. Let me say this for those that are just joining this week. We have been talking for the last 2 weeks about. Gary and Gwen, they met each other. Gary lost his spouse. Gwen had been married before. One spouse divorced and one twice. Yeah. And so we're talking about finding love again because so many people want to find love. I've been also watching these podcasts on married relationships and looking for the future wife, looking for the future husband. And so Gary and Gwen have found love again after years, and so people are older and they're like, well, what about me? Does God forget about me? Is there still an opportunity for me? So we have been meeting with them.
Can I start the question you asked them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine didn't like it at all.
Oh,
my siblings didn't like it. Nope. Moving too fast.
Yep.
This and that. I mean, it was on. Yeah. And I told Darlene, I said, look, I'm in love with you. I'm going to choose you. And I don't give a blank. No, I didn't say that. But I really want in my mind. In my mind.
You would think.
I was thinking about it. I started going to hide this wine open and give them $20 and cuss everybody out for me. And so, but I didn't do it. But they was going home. They was going back home to their husband. They were going back home to their girlfriend. They were going back home to their wives. And I'm sitting there and the silence is screaming at me. I'm there by myself and the phone ain't ringing. Nobody come to the house. And I'm not used to that. And so I made a choice. But see, they just like I'm the oldest brother. I'm the oldest of all. They have known me to make good decisions all my life. when I wasn't doing drugs or that kind of thing. But sober minded, they know I've always made good decisions. I made good decisions for myself, and I made good decisions for them because I'm like a dad to them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what all the fuss was about, but I chose Darlene.
Can't see you at all.
Now we see.
No, you couldn't see us? You guys okay?
Yeah, well, we see you now. Like the internet was going in and out there for a second.
Okay.
Did you hear us?
Yeah, your words were getting out.
Yeah. We got the gist of everything he said.
Okay. All right.
So the question is what did your grown kids say? We'll start with you, Gwen.
Well, I mean, the first thing was that when I explained to them that I was, I met Gary and, started dating and everything, I invited Gary to the anniversary that he was saying that my son's best friend and his wife had. And so that was the first time my oldest son met him. My youngest son, he hadn't met him yet.
How old is your oldest?
We had a good time. Huh?
How old is your oldest son?
What'd you say?
How old is your oldest son?
How old? He is 51.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And so we had a good time, at the anniversary party. Like I said, I introduced him to Gary. And, they hit it off pretty good. And I think he said something to Gary in regards to me.
He did. Not that night, but a little later.
Oh, okay. And then after that, my second son met him when it was my birthday, and they took me out to eat. And I invited Gary, to the birthday party that they had for me at the dinner. And my youngest son met him at that particular time. But my kids have always been in my corner, as far as me meeting someone. The person prior to Gary that I dated for a little while, they was like, Mama, no, he's not the one. So, they've always been good, as far as, giving me advice, about dating and stuff like that. So when they met Gary, they said he was a nice guy, and that as long as I'm happy, they're happy.
That's good.
So, but what did they say when you said you was going to get married to Gary? Same thing?
Well, it was a surprise to me too.
You ain't cutting up over there. She like, hold on.
What do you mean surprise?
even though we have been talking about it and everything, it was a surprise. And it was after we came from church one day, and the picture that he was talking about that really kind of, started him with following me and, being interested in me and everything. That was the same day that his cousin had sent him the picture a year ago.
Okay.
So we had left church and
Easter Sunday, actually.
Yeah, it was Easter Sunday. And we came home and he said, I've got to go somewhere. He said, I got to go meet my son. And I said, okay, So he left and my oldest son came over to the house. And so he and I was talking and he was getting ready to go to Tanger Outlet and he wanted me to go with him. I said, well, no, I can't do that. I can, just leave, And so then Gary came back and my son was still here, but he left. And so we were sitting outside, just talking, just an average day. And all of a sudden he stands up and asks me to stand up. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden I see this box and he asked me to marry him. And I was like, what's this? I said yes.
Gary was trying to resurrect something. Easter Sunday, he's trying to resurrect something.
So my son came back, and then that's when we, told him that I told him that Gary had, asked me to marry him and everything. And then he started sending his kids, letting them know that we were engaged. And then I started sending my family members, letting them know that we were engaged.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
Were you nervous, Gary?
Kind of, sort of. Because she asked me, she said, well, you didn't get on your knee. I said, I wasn't getting on my knee on the concrete. And you said, I think if you said no,
You don't want to have to rise up from
Exactly.
rejection.
You were 100% sure she was going to say yes?
I was.
Okay.
Oh, you were?
Oh, I was.
Come on now. Come on, girl.
Look,
There was no doubt in my mind.
Look,
There was no
here's,
doubt
I
in my
got it like that. I'm a good man.
Here's why I say that. As she mentioned that day, that same picture that I had received a year ago that got me interested in looking at her. For whatever reason, that day, I was looking at my phone and that same picture popped up that day.
Wow.
That day, it popped up again. And that's when I knew, because I was already trying to decide when I was going to ask her. I was thinking maybe I'll wait till, next week or the following week, that kind of thing. But when that picture popped up, I knew that was the day for me to ask, that day.
And so then what did
He
your
went and got the ring. He went and got the ring the same day.
What?
Which I had already planned to do anyway.
Wow. So
Well, my
when you
son-
had that error, that's what you was out doing.
That was part of it. Well, see, my older son had called me and we was talking, and he had got another car and he wanted me to see it. And I said, well, I said, where are you? And when he said, well, I'm at home. I said, well, look, I need to go over by the outlet mall. So I'll just meet you there, which he wasn't that far from that area anyway, because he lived in Locust Grove also.
Okay.
So we met there and we started talking. I'm, of course, looking at his car, nice car. He got him a new BMW SUV and everything. So we're looking at it. And then I said, are you in a hurry? He said, no. I said, well, come go with me. He said, where we going? And I told him, I said, I'm going to get a ring. He said, what? He said, yeah, I got to go with you on this because I want to make sure you get it right. That's exactly what he said.
Oh, that's good.
That's what he said.
That's good.
Get it right. So we went to the one store that I had originally went to. And he said, let's go to this other one over here. We went to a second store after we had went to the first one. And when we got in there, I said, okay, this is the one right here. He said, I like that one too. I think she'll like that one too.
So your sons were all in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My boys, when I told them about dating, Gwen, of course, as well as being engaged, they were all in. As far as the girls, they did say they was glad and happy for me, but I could tell that they wanted more time to be around Gwen,
Right.
to see Gwen and be with Gwen, that kind of thing. And
So what do you have, 4 kids, Gary?
I have 3 kids, biological kids, and then of course my 2 godchildren and one that we adopted. So 6 altogether if you count them, because we've been in their life most of their life. So yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
And but it was the boys were like, oh yeah, Dad, we glad for you. As long as you're happy, we're happy. The girl, my daughter said,
Tell me what Monty said too.
what Monty said? Oh, my youngest son. He's a trip. We hadn't even got engaged yet. Yeah, we hadn't even got engaged yet. And it was around our family reunion time. And my son was in charge of getting shirts, passing out shirts. So I told him I was going to come over and help him, which was in Griffin at the volunteer park. People would come over. So while we was there, I said, son, let me tell you, man. I said, man, let me tell you, man, about Gwen. Of course, they had already met her. I said, man, she cooked dinner, man. She can cook. My son, he threw her hands up like touchdown. He said, sign them paper, brother. Sign them paper.
Right.
You look good and she can cook too?
Right.
That's exactly what he said.
Right.
He said, sign them paper, brother. Sign them paper. He said,
Okay, so,
like that.
so now, Gary, I got a tougher question for you.
Okay.
What did the church people say?
Well, I never said anything to them about dating anyone at first. I never said anything. When they finally did get to meet her, this is before I even proposed to her, but I already had it in my radar that we was going to get married. They were actually happy for me. They all said that, you know what, Pastor, we're so glad for you. We're so happy for you. and some even went as far as saying, we've seen what you've gone through. We've seen how it was for you. And to see you now is no doubt you're happy now. And we are so glad for you. We're happy for you. We're happy for you. Yep.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yep.
Austin, my bonus son, he's happened to be watching the broadcast now, but he said he wasn't really ready for it. But he told us, he said, but it's undeniable that y'all make a good looking couple. Y'all really good looking couple. That's what he said.
What, 19 at the time?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Gwen, what was that like for you now going into knowing that you're going to be a pastor's wife?
A little frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, Gary and I always talked about that, because I told him, I said, I don't know, being a pastor's wife, what's expected of me, what my responsibilities are, and he just basically said, just be yourself and, be supportive, of me. And, that's basically it. You don't have to change for anybody or anything like that. And so, like I said, I constantly have prayed about it, and just being led by the Spirit, and so, I'm comfortable with it right now.
I shared the story with her, my late wife. I told her when I received the calling in ministry. My wife said to me, well, he called you, he didn't call me.
That's what I said, Gary.
Right.
For that one.
There's no first lady manual. There's no first lady manual that you can go by.
And look, I'm gonna say this before I forget. Fuller said to me, Gwen, I don't know, somebody must have said, or tried to call me or imply that I would be first lady. And Fuller said, no, she the only lady.
Amen to that.
Ain't no first lady. She's the only lady.
That's it.
And so that's what we say to you two, Gwen. Ain't no first lady. Anybody got to call first lady? You the only. There's only one of you.
That's right.
No first, no second. That's
the only one. The only lady.
Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can say one thing about the members in the church. They have really, really been really good about accepting me. And I go along great with everybody.
Yeah. You never have that. And I'm asking because I married Fuller and Gene was a part of his life for 50 years.
Right.
And so you've not had any concerns about people, how they perceive you or compare you and things like that. Yeah, me either. I have no issues because I'm my own person. Like you seem to be, stand your own.
I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And I just be myself.
You're good in your own skin.
Yeah.
Right. Darlene confident in her own skin.
Yeah.
So
right.
You have no problem there.
Yeah. One of the things that someone asked, and you don't have to share this, but Fuller and I, we talk about the differences in our age, but because we have people that like Dawn here, Dawn was asked, she said, well, how old is she? I said, I ain't asking Gwen how old she is now. But
I don't mind telling my age.
No, Gwen, come on, tell it.
I'll be 74 next month.
You look great.
You're looking good.
Look great.
You're looking good.
God has graced you.
So then Dawn says, because she's in that mode, Dawn's son is our youth pastor.
Okay.
And so we can remember the year Dawn sang in the choir with me at church. And so I've known Dawn for 30 years. And so the majority of the time I've known her, she's not been married. And so you think about that generation of people that have, they've been younger in our years, and then times just kept going on, and we still are single. We're like, where are the good men at? Yeah. Where are they? So what advice would you give to someone like, it doesn't have to be Dawn, but we got some other single women on here about finding love and, what should they be looking for or doing or not doing or whatever you want to share?
Well, I think they should first take their time. And a lot of times, we don't evaluate ourselves. You have to learn how to spend time with yourself. And a lot of women may not, allow that for themselves. You know, you have to evaluate yourself first.
Yeah.
And if you've been hurt or whatever, you've got to deal with those things before you move forward with somebody else, you know. And so I've always been a person that, you know, just spend time to myself and more or less kind of just work on myself. Otherwise, you know, things that I see that I might need to change, you know, before I go into another relationship.
Right.
So, you know, first thing is to evaluate yourself. The second thing, what I would say would be just take your time. You know, don't rush into, you know, a relationship. You know, you can date and things like that, but when you're dating, I would say, you know, just be prepared to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
You know, and get to know the person, you know, and spend time with that person. And, you know, just take your time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So you got some people that are commenting. I don't know if you guys can see the comments that are posted, but like Dawn said, she said, I'm 66. And then Cassandra writes in and says, I'm 64. And, you know, just people are just, we all want to be loved. I know when Gary, we all want to find love.
Did you want to find love?
Okay, Full is having a whole confidence conversation with me. Did I want to find love? Absolutely. I was tired, Gwen, of swiping left and right. I was tired of asking all the questions. I was just tired of people thinking that I was at a certain place and that they couldn't match where I was, and so they wouldn't approach me.
Right.
Or, you know, sitting in church, you know, feel like I'm looking halfway decent, but nobody would say anything. Yeah. I think that's what happens to a lot of, and I'm just going to say women, because they're waiting for that person to come, as the Bible talks about, you know, a man that finds.
Right.
That's and right. So, you know, they're taking care of themselves. They're looking good, but we still have that question in our mind, you know, when is my turn?
Right.
We can't answer that. We don't know when your turn is going to be, if it ever will be the turn, right?
Well, he didn't say you couldn't put out no bait.
Yeah.
you know, Darlene, you said, I think in the last episode that, you know, women have a list, and sometimes you have to reevaluate that list that you have, you know, and maybe shorten that list a little bit.
That's
good. What you were expecting to find.
Yeah.
You know,
and my list was long. I had a list like this, and I was starting to narrow. But one thing I heard today, Gwen, and when I was listening to this podcast, I was driving home from the doctor's appointment. The young lady said she had gotten remarried again. She said, I wanted a partner. And in my previous relationship, my spouse didn't listen to me, or I didn't have a voice. And he never acknowledged when I spoke. Right. So I love the fact that when you and Gary are talking to each other, that I can tell you have a voice, that, you know, that, and you said it in one of the last episodes, and that you admired that he respected, and that he opened the door, and that, you know, and I can tell, and when I look at Gary, he got this glow in his eyes. I mean, I've seen him before you. And so I know what that looked like before. And now I can see the joy all in his eyes, and the peace, and the all of that. That's what we're looking for, right, Gwen? We want more than what we had before. And we just want that reassurance. You know, when I'm with Fuller, I could feel a brother can have on a nice suit and smell good and won't even do anything for me. Back in the day, now I would see it from the corner of my eyes, and then maybe I have no problem with ever wondering. In fact, can I tell them this story? Yeah. So this weekend, when we went home, I dated a guy in college years ago, and I'd have been married, you know, been married, had kids, but I still remember my college. I'm not gonna say sweetheart or anything. We dated. And to this day, we still are friends. So this weekend, I know that he was going through a healing. He's in a rehab center. And I just said, you know, do you mind? And he knows about, you know, the situation he's in. I said, do you mind? I said, JB, he's up the street in this rehab center. I said, you can go with me. I said, but I really want to go visit him because I don't know what life is going to bring. I said, I just want to check on him. We're friends still. And so he was like, you can go. He said, I ain't going because I'm tired, but I don't have no problem with you going to see him. And I went to go see him, and I probably stayed an hour, left, prayed with him. But God, when God sends you the right
That's right.
person, all of the other things that you used to do and conniving, I'm talking about Darlene Quincy, just the stuff
Well,
that I've done.
I wasn't worried. It didn't bother me at all because, I'm confident in what the relationship we have with
Right.
and trust.
Yeah.
And the trust. And that's one thing that in every relationship, if there's no trust there's no relationship.
Yeah.
Got it.
Trust, no relationship.
Yeah.
I heard Gwen said last week, she said one thing she would say to couples get married again or interested again, learn to listen. I remember Gwen saying that, listen, learn to listen.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful that you guys have found love again. You look happy.
Right.
You are inspiring to all the women that are posting their age and saying, man, I'm 68, I'm 65, I'm 64. There's people that are 25, 35, whatever it may be. We all want the
That's right.
the find
Right.
the
That's right.
one that God has.
I didn't think that I was going to get married again. I really didn't have any intentions of getting remarried.
But look,
that's why you was in a good place.
I was
That's
in a
why
good place. Yeah,
you wasn't desperate.
Right.
You wasn't looking and seeking.
Right.
You just living in the comfort of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, baby, that was good what you said. What Fuller just said, Gwen, which is that you weren't desperate, you weren't settling,
right?
You weren't, going to compromise who
she
you
was
were.
Good with herself.
Yeah, because what happens is, ladies, is we start compromising who we are, or we dumb down our intelligence. Because Fuller would always say to me, darling, I love you because you got a vast conversation. We can talk about politics, we can talk about sports. You like sports, we can talk about anything.
Yeah.
Right. And so so ladies, don't ever compromise who God has created you to be.
That's right.
Know your identity, know your worth, and that man that is looking for you will meet you at a place where you are at your level, and even a greater level, because he'll want you to be in a great place than where you are.
That's
and
right.
He wanted to get married a lot sooner, but I just kept dating him and learning about him and seeing if anything was going to change. Because sometimes men start out one way, and women too start out one way, and then as you progress into the relationship, then they start changing. But Gary he's remained the same from beginning to end, and that was for a whole year before we actually.
I had asked Darlene. I told her, I'm going to ask you to marry me, because I wasn't taking a chance like Gary. I was putting feelings out there. Like I said, I wouldn't get down on my knees and be embarrassed.
And really, I was blowing him off, Gwen. I was like, you ain't going.
She said, you ain't gonna ask me to marry. You ain't gonna do nothing.
Right. Right.
And I surprised her that day with at the house I was living in.
I saw and heard you all talk about the age thing. I think it was last week. We saw a video where this gentleman who was 90 years old. Mm-hmm. His wife had just passed. I don't know how long ago it was, but 90 years old, fell in love again and married this lady at 90.
And she was 63.
And she was 63.
Wow.
27 years different or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And she said she really felt love with him and by him. And man, and we watched the videos, like 90 years old. Wow. Yeah.
He was on the Steve Harvey show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I might have saw that sometime back.
Yeah.
My dad, he wanted to get married again, probably. And my sister blocked it.
I was gonna say no, he wasn't gonna get married now with him.
My sister was taking care of him. He couldn't take care of himself. They said there ain't gonna be no convalescence. Now if he was up and able to do all the things, drive and do all that, they probably would have said but not in his condition. He wasn't able to take care of himself. And so
I had an aunt that was 80 some years old. She got remarried.
wow.
Look, this is what Renelda says, Gwen. She says, this is so true what you were saying, Gwen. She says, I ran into a friend who divorced and remarried soon after, only to learn the man was abusive. She is now in the process of divorcing him and has to have a restraining order due to the threat of the violence. And see, again, what we were talking about is that we're so desperate to find love. You think you found love. Fuller and I have counseled people that, you know, they were one way, and then you find out the man ain't even got a job.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's true.
You know, or you find out that he is abusive, or you know, or he said he lived wherever, and they end up he's living in a, you know, one of those homes where you don't have a job or something. You know, so it's a lot of different things. So ladies, hold on, wait on God, wait on.
Patience is important when it comes to
the younger guys. They rather play video game than love their wives.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. So,
one thing for sure, if a person is truly, like you said, most people are, everybody wants to be loved. And if you just be patient, it'll happen. It will come. It will come. Yeah. Of course, we trust God to send who we need as well as looking for, and He will. But oftentimes people get impatient and start trying to take matters into their own hand and things like that. One thing I said to Gwen is that, and this is part of my prayer as well, that I pray, anyone that God bless me to have the opportunity to be in a relationship with again, I wanted it to be someone that I can learn something from, and they can learn from me as well. Yeah. Not just me doing all the teaching, if you will, or whatever. Vice versa. I want to be able to learn from her as well.
Right.
Kind of thing. So that's another thing too. You want to be in a relationship with someone that you feel that not only, as you said earlier, that respect you and that you can trust, but someone that you just feel like, okay, you can learn something from this person as well.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It means a lot. It really does.
I want to change the subject for a minute. Gwen, you've done a good job with Gary, because I saw him before. Because one thing, Gary drove over to Fayetteville a couple of times to have lunch with me where he could talk to me. And that's where his late wife was living. Right. And just the pain that he didn't talk about, but the pain you could see in his face. Yeah. You could just see it. And then not only that, when you're a caregiver, it wears you down.
Yeah.
You know, and so he was worn and weary, you know, and wanted some relief, you know, and I encouraged him as much as I could, because he said, no, he's a preacher. I've talked to several preachers, but they don't know. He said, until you've been there, you don't have a clue. Exactly. Until you've been there as a caregiver, you really don't have a clue.
You don't.
I pray for caregivers every day. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I pray for, because you feel forgotten, you feel isolated, you feel like nobody else is, you don't want to care. You know, no matter how good the intentions they were, even like my boys, the boys are different. My siblings, they girls, they was on John on the spot. But my boys, they would come out there and stay a couple hours, and then they think they had cleaned the moon, you know, they had, and then they gone and go with their life. And then you're there, and they don't know about all night long. You up all night, they get a lack of sleep. They all understand that, and they think they done good. Come and stay 2-3 hours,
right.
Or something, you know. And it's hard.
That's right, Bishop. There was a place, and this is for the audience as well to hear this. There was a place I found myself in, and I've always been someone that never was easily depressed, never easily stressed, none of that. I've always been an even keel for the most part. But there was a period of time, and it lasted for about 2 weeks, to where I call it now a dark place that I was in. I had no idea that I was stressing. And one thing you did say to me the last time we did get together, you said, you grieving. I'm like, grieving? Because, you know, most people think of grieving when someone has passed away, but you can also be grieving while someone
is well.
Right. But I didn't know that, because I didn't know that feeling. So I didn't know what depression was like. I didn't know what stress was like. I had no idea about any of that. But I found myself starting to feel and even say, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around nobody. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to just be left alone, period. And that went on for about a good 2 weeks. It just so happened that second week, Vera, my good friend Vera, your sister Vera, she called me. She called me, hey, friend, how you doing? And I wasn't going to say anything because I don't like to bring my troubles, burdens, problems to anyone else. I don't want to keep it to myself. So, but she said, friend, what, you okay? And I started talking. And little did I know I needed to have that conversation about where I was. So I started sharing with her about what I was feeling, how things was going. And of course, when it was all said and done, she prayed. We prayed together. She actually prayed. And it was at that time. And then, of course, remembering the conversation that you and I had, I came out of it. And thank God that I was, in the Word, going to the Word, preparing for Bible study and preaching and things. So I think if it wasn't for that, I don't know what would have happened to me. I just don't know. But I was in a place that I never experienced in my life. So I'm saying this to say this. You may find yourself in a place feeling like I was feeling, maybe even worse. I don't know. But just know God always has something and someone for you. We just have to be prepared and open enough to receive whatever he would send and bring to us. And that phone call is what helped me, that very phone call.
Yeah, I remember when Fuller talked about, when Jean, his late wife, passed away, how he wasn't sure if he was going to go. He had a swimming pool and just jump in the pool, start swimming, and then just sink. Try to figure out a way. But that's where your mind starts.
That's real.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And again, I was listening to another podcast where the guy was going through a divorce, and they had kids involved, and so he was like, maybe one day I'll just somehow be walking on the street or walking on the freeway, or stop my car on the freeway and just walk across the street, and a truck hit me or a car hit me. That's a hard way to go. Right. But people get in their minds that, how do I get rid of this pain?
How I move forward? What is life all about?
Yeah. Right.
And I did. I wanted to go and just dive in the pool and not come up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was hurting so bad. I was just hurting. Yeah. And I just wasn't in a good place. You can have all the people around you.
You
music. You can have. I'm talking about eating good, everything. But there's something when you spend that much time. You spend 30, 40, 50 years with someone. And then y'all locked in as one. It's hard, man. It's hard.
It is. I'm sorry, baby. And I was going to say, and Fuller just said about, you spend 30, 40, 50 years with someone. What about if you've been spending 30, 40, 50 years by yourself? Yeah. Wow. It's just as difficult by yourself. And, like on Sundays is a good day where, couples kind of go out to the park and do things. But I remember the times where it was very dark. Yes. I'd come home and nobody would be there. And so I would be like, what am I going to do? I'm going to eat by myself, go out to eat by myself. So those things, the ladies that are single on here, they're When you guys hold on just a second. Y'all are cutting it, or I may be cutting out for you guys. Now on the studio audience, let me know if y'all can hear us okay. Because I know Gary and Gwen look like they're frozen. But let me know if you guys
can. We hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, so I was just saying that, when in those dark places,
you guys are cutting out.
Even in those dark places, when you feel alone, forget about the being married to somebody, not being married to anybody, and still believing that God is going to bring the person. And that's 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and you still by yourself. But I told Fuller this. I was looking outside. We have such a beautiful landscape in our backyard. And I always see there's a fence right there. And over the fence, there are these trees. And I just, in my own imagination, I tell myself, and when I'm ministering to people as well, I'll say, if you could just keep your eyes on the other side, there's a place called there. Mm-hmm. And as long as you don't stop at the fence, or let the fence stop you, or let the trees that you got to go through the woods, you got to go through the forest. Don't let that stop you either, because it's a scary place going through the trees when it's dark. But if you can see yourself getting through the other side, past the mountain, past all of the obstacles, there is a place called there, and you'll get there if you believe that you're going to get there.
That's right.
But if you don't believe it,
have faith.
That's
have
it.
faith.
yeah. So you got to call those things on in. And so Dawn says, I wanted, because I know we're going over, you guys. This is our last episode with the Akins. So why not continue to listen in, and we're going to wrap things up. But Dawn says here, and I'm going to ask Gary or Fuller to answer this question. She asked if you guys can see the monitor on your screen.
Yeah, I see it.
You see?
I see it. What are some
says,
red flags?
What are some red flags? And what she's talking about is when you're dating someone, what's the red flag that a woman should be looking for from a man?
One red flag, and I think this might be the biggest for the most part, to me anyway. If this gentleman is talking more about himself, making it more about him, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
And watch his demeanor when you say something that he don't like. Because he shows a certain kind of demeanor, then it's going to get worse if y'all get together.
That's true.
And when watch his tone, the way he talk, not just to you, how does he treat the waitress? How does he treat other people that are serving him? How do you respond when he upset, not with you, but with the people that are around him?
Family members.
Is he a loner? If is he by himself all the time and have no close friends? That's a big red flag.
Oh yeah,
something is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes men can tell you, they can, just talk your head off. But I always say, your action speaks louder than your words.
Yeah.
They can promise you the world, but if there's no action behind it, it's dead.
And the one thing that we talked about a lot, I know on the broadcast, to include with each other, the communication piece. And I always says communication, the best communicator is one that tends to listen. Yeah. They're better listener than they are one that talks, in other words.
As you said, the communication is the heartbeat. It's like the heart to the body.
That's right.
That's how serious it is. It's the key. Because you can communicate, you can get over any hurdle, any challenge, any difficult time if you can communicate. Because you're all in this together. So you need to communicate.
Yeah, Yvonne Holmes says that's why it's important. She's confirming what we've already talked about, which is that's why it's important to communicate and ask a lot of questions. And Gwen, I'll go back to something that you said.
Before you say that, Darlene, if I mind, real quick, on the communication piece, one thing too that I tend to share with people in counseling, especially, and of course Gwen and I talk about this as well. When communicating, even though we say listening is very important, but most people tend to listen to respond rather than listening to understand.
Right.
That's a difference.
Good.
That's a difference. You got to listen to understand versus just listening to respond.
Right.
Oftentimes, that's what happens in communication. People are communicating, and they sometimes, we probably all have been there at some point. We already know what we want to say. We just wait for them to finish so we can get it out. That's listening to respond rather than listening to understand. And if we learn to listen to understand, you'll better know how to deal with issues, challenges, or whatever may be taking place in a relationship, if any, as well as having the right response.
They were listening, but they didn't hear you.
Exactly.
Right. They didn't hear you.
Exactly.
One thing, and you said something key then too, understanding. That's what I always, Darlene and I talk about. If Darlene was short with me, very seldom she's been short with me, but I know where it's coming from. So I know it's not me, it's something else going on with her.
Exactly.
So I understand her. So if you understand a person, you're less likely to get upset about it and respond a certain way. You just let that pass, and then later on you can come back to it. And everything don't have to be addressed right then.
Exactly.
A lot of times that's the problem. Don't address everything at that moment. Sometimes just let it down. It'll take care of itself. Because the person normally come back if they knew they was wrong, they'll come back to it. I want to holler out at Chris Page and who I saw on somebody different
Jeff
on there.
Glover.
John Dixon, from Louisiana.
Okay.
They asking me, am I 40?
Oh, no. So this goes back to Dawn's question. She said, what are the red flags? So then Chris Page says, Chris is one of our guests, has been on our episodes
as well.
Yes. So he says, here's a red flag. Is he 40? Is he 50? Whatever. Is he jobless? Is he still living off of mama? If he's still at the house.
Right.
Them same things. You got a house, but he's still trying to make ends meet, or living with a sister, or renting out a room. Them red flags.
Right. And never owned a place, or never been on the place of his own, nothing like that. Look at his car. Look how he keep his car.
Right.
Because that's how he's gonna keep you.
Maybe just want to try to move in with you. That's another red flag.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's really trying to move in with you. That's a red flag.
Women need to also, make sure that they're equally yoked.
Yeah, what you mean by that, Gwen?
Spiritually, are you on the same path? Do you share spiritual experiences, with God the same way? You pray together. You pray for each other. And just make sure that you're lined up. Going the same direction as far as trying to enter the kingdom of God.
And then this is what Dawn said. She said, "I am not a sponsor." Good for you, Dawn.
I know that's right. Don't be no sponsor. That's true.
And look, and Gwen, you said something really powerful. Are you equally yoked? Because sometimes, depending on which of the two people, somebody can change you and have you go into another religion because you love, because you want to be with that person. Like my sister changed from being a Christian, and all of a sudden she's Muslim. I mean, in a whole different realm of her life, it's just completely they were polygamy and all that. I was like, Lord, what is happening? So you got to be careful not to let your eyes get blinded by false, whatever it is.
But I want to say this: something you brought up about the trees, to encourage the ladies that are still looking and still want to be loved and want to be married. Men, I heard this analogy. I just read it this weekend. When I had some quiet time, very few times. This guy was talking about a tree. He said a tree shed all its leaves in the winter, but it don't give up. He still stand tall because he know a better day is coming.
My God.
Spring, man, that thing stuck with me in my spirit.
That's good stuff right there.
But he just wouldn't stand. He stood tall. He didn't compromise who he was. He didn't compromise anything because of the condition, because he knew a better day was coming.
That's right.
Y'all hear that? Woo! Go on, baby.
Oh yeah. That's good stuff.
That requires sugar. Put some sugar in that coffee on that mug right there.
I know that's right, man.
My goodness, you guys.
Man, we sure enjoyed you guys, man. We're
we
gonna have to get together socially, but we got to get together soon.
So you guys have anything you would like to leave the studio audience with, or what, baby?
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna preach for Gary, so
That's
y'all
right.
can come down to Griffith.
Oh yeah,
The second Sunday in November.
Second Sunday in November. Gary, what's the name of the church and the address? Go on and put it in.
All right, Pine Chapel Baptist Church, Zebulon, Georgia, Hardin Road, 1881 Hardin Road, Zebulon, Georgia.
Pine Baptist Church.
Pine Chapel.
Pine Chapel.
Where about is where?
It's 1881 Hardin, Harden Road, Zebulon, Georgia.
And
Zebulon,
that's
okay.
November.
Oh, you know, Baptists don't give no date.
Oh, the second Sunday. I'm sorry.
Second
Sunday.
Second Sunday, November.
Don't give no date.
I'm
You
sorry.
know,
Gary paused. I was like, is the internet all right, Gary?
Hey, I'm trying to think of a date. I don't know. All I know is the second Sunday in November at 11:30 a.m.
More day.
That's right.
11:30 a.m.
If y'all want to join us second Sunday in November at Pine Church.
Pine Chapel. In Zebulon, Georgia.
Okay,
They can Google it.
Yes. What do you guys want to leave your audience with today that's listened to your story? We've been 3 episodes in. So now we're wrapping up. What would you like to say? Any last minute thoughts?
Ladies first.
Well, I would just say, for the women out there, to love yourself first and, you know, just get to know yourself
Yeah.
before you just jump out there and start, looking for love, because love is out there, but you just
Amen.
have to be patient
Amen.
and just believe that, there is someone out there for you. And, just take your time. Take your time,
Yeah. Gwen, can I add on to that? Who you guys? I'm gonna say this in love. Fuller, as we've been now married 5 years, going on 5 years.
November.
We Darlene has come with many different faces, different hairstyles, different looks. I probably have been through 25 different hairstyles since Fuller has met me, from braids to letting my hair grow longer. I had a bob. I've, all kinds of looks, and I've changed my appearance. I've gained weight. I've lost weight. I've, changed my clothes, my style, because of who I'm married to now. So just what Gwen said, if you have not changed, and not that you have to for anybody, but if you've not adjusted who you are to come up to a standard that even greater than where you were, let's say it that way, then just consider coming up in a different place, looking
But don't
different.
dumb it down.
You don't have to dumb it down, but come up a level.
Right.
So that's what Gwen is talking about, looking good. So every time Gwen has been on here, she got her cute earrings. I've been looking at them earrings. But just looking at where you are,
Right.
and where you have been stagnant in the appearance. So if the appearance has been the same, it's okay to change.
That's right.
It's okay to look different. It's okay to cut the hair, add some hair, put the lashes on. Darlene got lashes. Put the lipstick on. I have people that said to me at church, Darlene got this hot pink lipstick on, full of like Darlene to wear light lipstick, not dark lipstick. But I've adjusted. Even before Fuller, I had to change just a little bit of my style to meet the person that God has for me.
That's right.
And it just happened to be Fuller.
Right.
Had I looked any kind of way, he wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have met him at the place that he was looking for.
Mhm.
That place called there. That's what I'm talking about, you guys.
Right.
It's good. That's good.
There's one thing that I will say is people often would say love is blind and that love hurts. And I tell people love is never blind. We just don't look over the fence.
Right.
Right. We just don't look to the other side of the fence. Love is never blind. And
Right.
love never hurts. So if
Right.
you've been hurt,
Right.
just know that's not love.
Mm.
That's not love.
Someone is
That's not
abusing
love.
you.
Yeah,
that's
that's not
not
love.
love.
Verbally, it's going to be verbally
Wow.
abuse. It doesn't
Yes.
matter. That's not
Verbally,
love. Love never hurts. Love never hurts.
Knowing
Love
is
never
right.
hurts.
know who you are and be the best that you can
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
And if you don't give you a straight answer, you got to guess where they are at. If they ain't calling you in 2 or 3 days, playing games.
We too old to play games.
Right. I would,
You got that right.
because I told Darlene when we was dating, I said, I'm not dating to date. I'm dating to get married.
That's
I
it.
wasn't interested in going with this girl, this lady.
Nope.
I was serious when I met her because I wasn't looking. I wanted somebody, but I wasn't looking.
Right.
And it just happened.
Right.
And see, women have to understand that men, like Steve Harvey says, are hunters. But a lot of times,
Right.
women like to become the hunters. So
Right.
you got to back up
Right. That's right. Bag it up.
Yeah.
and let the men hunt and find you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, thank you both
Thank
for
y'all.
words of wisdom tonight. As we kept talking more, more kept coming out.
Right.
So
The whole hour.
Yeah,
it don't seem like it.
it doesn't. But thank you guys. We love you. We appreciate you sharing your intimate moment, and congratulations on your 1 month anniversary,
Thank you.
and a little bit beyond 1 month, but 1 month anniversary.
Mhm.
Which is
People
good.
love a love
They
story.
do.
And they find love again after what you guys been through. You faced life challenges, but you didn't give up, and you didn't quit, and you didn't cave in.
That's
So
right.
you shall reap if you faint not.
Right.
Hello, one and a half.
Anytime you want to talk about love, I'm your guy. I love talking
All
about
right.
it. I love that love
Love.
talk. I love that
That's-
love talk.
Oh, that's good.
That's what Darlene said about me. She's a full. You just love.
Yeah.
I
You
said,
just love.
Oh,
Nothing like it.
hey,
Nothing like it.
Darlene, what you don't know, he is actually my brother, just from another mother.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Y'all got certain, but y'all been taught well in Griffin, Georgia.
That's right.
Y'all know how to love. So thank you all. Thank you,
Thank
studio
you.
audience, for joining in today.
Thank you.
And this is just another episode of Finding Love Again. You guys stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be back with another conversation. We don't know what it is yet, but we got something good for you.
Right.
All right. This is how we do it.
That's right.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Have a good rest of your evening. Take care.